great. Let's have on signature, man.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
Great. Sure.
How are you doing?
I'm alright, and you?
Good.
How you doing? Good, how are you?
Just want to sign in. Glad to see you today.
Hi.
Thank you.
Welcome to our office. Nice
Yes,
to meet you.
I'm here to see Keith Otto.
Oh, wonderful. He's here. Just come with me.
Okay.
Hi, Kit. This is my guest for tonight. Her name is Alyssa.
Oh, nice to meet you, Lisa. How you doing? How do you know Claudia?
From work.
Okay, awesome. What did she tell you that we're doing this evening?
Well, she told me about the business opportunity and the opportunity to make more money.
Okay, great. You're going to love what you see tonight then.
Okay.
Claudia's doing great with us right now. She's coming through a training process. What have you ever heard of Primerica before?
No, I haven't.
Okay, awesome. What you're going to sit through tonight is an overview, a business briefing, which is going to talk about who we are, what we do, some of the positions we have available. And you're going to get a great education on how money works too. So if we pique some interest, we'll set up a time to get back together with you. I'm actually going to be closing out the meeting tonight. So as soon as we're done, if we pique some interest, and we will, you're going to love what you see, then we'll set up a time in my office to get back together.
All right, great.
All right? Claudia, if you could just grab her a seat inside in the business briefing. All right?
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Nice
I'll
to
see
meet
you
you.
inside.
Fine.
Thank you.
Hi, I'd like to welcome everybody down to our office. My name is Joe Ratowski. I'm one of the regional vice presidents with the company, and I've been here now over 20 years. Been very fortunate. We've got involved part-time, and then we made a career swing when we started to do very well financially. Hopefully that same exact thing can happen to you, if not greater. Some are also looking to learn about some financial concepts, and we're going to cover a lot of that great stuff tonight. But before we get started, if you don't mind, if you have a cell phone on you, if you can turn it off or mute it, we'd really, really appreciate that because we don't want to have any distractions. Also, if you have any questions, if you can hold them to after the meeting, we'd really appreciate that because we got a lot of stuff to cover in a short period of time. We're going to hit on a lot of principles and concepts that I guarantee you'll learn a lot from, and then if you implement what you're going to learn, you'll be thanking, once again, the person that brought you down here in a big way. Tonight, we have a very special guest. He's a company-wide leader. I mean, he is world-renowned, and you are fortunate to have him in your presence tonight. So if you have a notebook, okay, make sure you're taking down everything he's going to be telling you because it's going to be a lot of great wisdom. He is a senior national sales director in our company, which is the highest paid position in our company. So without further ado, if you can help me, please welcome a good friend of mine, Keith Otto.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Joe. Hey, welcome down to Primerica. You know, every time I sit through an introduction like that, I always think about the first time I looked at Primerica. I've been with Primerica since 1987. I started when I was 22 years old. I'm originally from New Jersey. You guys know where Princeton University is? I didn't go there. I was just wondering if you knew where it was. My background was I was a plumber and I taught a karate school. I was actually trying out for the Olympic team in '88. So I had no financial background experience, and somebody invited me down to an overview of the company, kind of like what you're sitting through tonight. And I remember sitting in a meeting, and I came in work boots and jeans. I had my hat on backwards, and I was a little underdressed at the time. But I remember my communion suit at the time was like this big, and it didn't fit. So I remember sitting in a business briefing. And I remember sitting in a meeting like a lot of you guys are sitting, going like this, like who's Primerica, Primavera, it sounded like a pasta company. And I remember sitting through the business briefing saying, what am I doing here? And then the first speaker got up and started talking about some of the concepts and what we do. And they also talked about expanding their business. And 27 years later now, we've got a bunch of offices in a few different states. And I'm going to share some concepts, okay? So we invited you down here to kind of take a look at who we are and what we do. And as you sit through this meeting, what I'd like you to think about, is there a need for what we're doing? Is there a need out there? Does the public need what we do? You know, you think about the economy right now, as most companies are downsizing and right-sizing and job forwarding, which is fancy terms for firing people, we're on a tremendous expansion phase, okay? So we didn't invite you down here to sell you anything tonight. We invited you down here because we're on a tremendous expansion phase, and I want to share some concepts. And as I'm going through it, I want to talk about the credibility of the company. And if you look at Primerica, real quick, it says listed on the New York Stock Exchange. We're a publicly traded company. This was from April 2010 when we took our company public. And so we are listed on the New York Stock Exchange right now. We're a huge company, and we do business with a lot of different companies. So I'm going to talk to you about kind of how long we've been here. If you look at who we are, been in business since 1977, 35 plus years with a track record, a tremendous track record. It says one of the companies focused on Main Street market, taking Wall Street concepts to Main Street. targeting middle-income people. No other company has what we have with the competitive market. They don't do what we do, and I'm going to kind of go through that with you. It says we're going to continue to dominate. So the reason I'm sharing this with you tonight is we didn't invite you down here because we're trying something. We invited you down here because we have a system and we have a strategy that works. And the challenge is we're trying to attack the market because our market is bigger than we can handle right now. And we're actually looking for people with no experience. And you might say, why would you want to take people on board with no experience? And one of the things I found is this way we're going to have to kind of untrain you and retrain you again. All right? I had no experience than anybody when I started. So let me kind of cover some concepts. Tell me if this is kind of hitting home for some of you right here. It says the average household with one credit card has at least $15,000 in credit card debt. And every time we do this in a meeting, a lot of people go, who the heck would have $15,000 in credit card debt? And then the other person sitting next to them says, damn it, I wish I only had $15,000, right? And so credit card we're supposed to be one of the richest, most educated countries in the world, and yet we have more people retiring in debt, retiring in poverty because people spend more than they make. 95 million US households have no life insurance. Either they have no life insurance or the wrong type of life insurance. We're going to touch on that a little bit this evening. 49% of workers feel they're not too confident about their future because of job insecurity. And so roughly 3/4 of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. People say week to week. I always call it week to very weak, right? And so it says this is a challenge right now. Average household income in 2007 was $55,000. Has prices gone up since 2007 or gone down? Has gas prices went up? Has costs, has taxes? Everything's gone up in price. The challenge is people's expenses have gone up, but their income has gone down. If you look at the average household income, that's a decrease of $4,000 over the last 6-7 years, which is crazy. So it says Main Street families are in crisis. How do they deal with the shortfall? How do you deal with the credit card debt? Credit cards are at an all-time high. It's not just you or the person sitting next to you, it's the whole country. And people need an education. I always use the example, people aren't stupid, but they're ignorant to information. And what we do is we educate people on how to eliminate debt. This is one of the areas. It says the answer right now in our mission statement is help families earn more income and become properly protected, debt-free, and become financially independent. And so what we do that is we have a system that we do that. The first thing that we share with people is how to be properly protected, how to protect your assets, and we'll talk about that. We own the largest protectors of individual life insurance in the United States called Primerica Life. We'll talk about that. Debt-free. We offer solutions to teach people how to eliminate debt or get out of debt sooner and cheaper. And financially independent. The only way to get financially independent is learn how to save and invest. And if you look at people that are wealthy, they save and invest. And so the challenge is the average person makes this and spends this. So by eliminating debt, lower your expenses and lowering your debt, you could and should be able to increase your savings. Growing up, what were we taught about how money works? You know, we're taught about all different things. Everything comes with a set of rules, but except money, right? And money's something that all of us hopefully have in our pocket. We use every single day, but we don't know how it works. See, we're taught nothing about money. And so it's amazing how many times I sit through and talk to people that have a degree in finance or have a background in money management and still have credit card debt and still don't know how to balance a checkbook. It's crazy. And it says people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. That's an old cliche, but the reason it's a cliche is it still holds true. It says the problem is traditional financial institutions sell you products, they don't provide a total solution. So let's just say this was you, right? The average person does business with 15 to 20 different people, right? They have a mortgage or a first mortgage or second mortgage, or they pay rent. Credit cards, anywhere from 1 to 15 if you're an American, right? If you don't have the money, you charge, right? So installment loans, mutual funds, savings accounts, right? Bank accounts, right? Usually you have 1 or 2 different bank accounts. Usually the wife has an account that the husband doesn't know about, but we do, okay? And then you got life insurance. You got life insurance individual, life insurance at work. And so the problem or the challenge is the average person does business with 15 or 20 different people. And so what's the chances of getting all these people to your house tonight? Even if you want them, even if you could get them, but you can't, you wouldn't want them at your house tonight, okay? But if you got them to your house, how could you get them all to agree? You see, the challenge is people will maybe set up a 401k at work, but the person at work doesn't know what their mortgage looks like, doesn't know what their individual stuff looks like. The guy who does his insurance at work maybe doesn't know what you have saved in the bank. So what we have is all these arrows point apart. What we do is we teach people how to get those arrows all working together together utilizing the concepts that we share at Primerica. So the solution right now is a financial needs analysis. We actually put together a financial map, a financial roadmap. If I said I was having a party at my house this weekend, why don't you just stop by, right? The first question you'd ask me is, where do you live, right? What's your address? You'd either get directions or you'd put it in your navigation. You wouldn't just get in your car and drive around for 4 hours and go, where the hell am I going anyway, right? So what happens is every time you get in your car, you have an end in mind because you don't want to waste your time. Yet when you ask people what's their financial end in mind, like what age do you want to retire? Today is what you usually hear, right? Or how much money you need to put away for kids' education? A lot. Well, you don't go to college with a lot, right? It's got to be a specific amount. So the solution right here is actually putting together a financial GPS, and that's kind of what we do for people. We take Wall Street concepts and we put together individual, and every financial needs analysis is geared individually. It's kind of like a thumbprint, right? You can live next door to the person that makes about the same amount of money, but your game plan might look a little bit different. This concept shares that people get sold stuff. A lot of times people look at you and go, I know what you need. How do you know what you need if you don't gather information? And so before we do business with somebody, we put together a financial blueprint, so to speak. And so these are some of the concepts that we share with people, is how to get your money working for you so it doesn't work against you. Most of us in this room, at least myself, have never heard of the Rule of 72. The Rule of 72 is a banking principle, and it talks about how money compounds out. It's a principle that's constant. Like pi, 3.14 is constant, it works, okay? How many times you walk into a bank and you see compound interest tables, rates of return, compounded monthly, and people don't know what the heck that means? You just want to know basically, if you're going to invest $1, how long does it take to double to $2? If you're going to put $100 in a savings account, how long does it take to double to $200? Well, based upon the interest, obviously you know the better the rate of return or the better interest, the faster your money grows, but most people don't realize how fast. So this is just a principle that says you take whatever interest rate you're getting on your money, divide it to 72, and it tells you how many years it takes your money to double. So if you're getting 3% on your money, 3 goes into 72 24 times. That means if you took $1 and you invested $1, 24 years later would become $2. So this gives an example of 10,000. It doesn't have to be 10,000, but it's an easy number and it's easier for me to multiply, okay? So if you took 10,000, 24 years later become 20, it would double to 20, it would double to 40,000. So that's where most people, a huge majority of the United States, think about your money right now. Most people that we sit down with have money sitting at 3% or less, a lot less. All right? And so if you just doubled your interest rate from 3% to 6%, most people assume that it doubles, but watch what happens. 6 goes into 72 12 times. That means every 12 years your money doubles. Your money actually quadruples, right? So by doubling your interest rate, your money actually quadruples, which is kind of neat. One of the things that we find is most people have money sitting in insurance policies, savings accounts at 3% or less, yet their credit card bills are 12% and 14% or higher in some situations. And so this Rule of 72 can work for you or work against you. And so if you just were able to get a 12% return, now 12% is not guaranteed, but we're showing you a concept, because a lot of you that have been around for a while have seen CDs at 12% years ago. Fixed annuities years ago were at 12%, right? A lot of our credit cards are at 12 or 14%. So we're showing this how it can work against you too. But watch this, that same $10,000, just to show you how money compounds out, at 12% now would double every 6 years. That's a $2.5 million difference. And so the message right now is what we do, folks, is we try to share with people, using a financial game plan, how to get the money you have invested, how to get a higher rate of return by taking high interest rate credit cards and student loans, and how to switch those two so you can gain your net worth, okay, and become financially independent. Because either you're financially independent or you're financially dependent on other people, right or wrong? Right. Okay, so how do you win the money game? Is you got to know the rules. Do banks and insurance companies have any incentives to teach us this? Who'd benefit from learning this? Everybody you and I know, right or wrong. It's amazing. We'll buy gas on Wednesdays sometimes because it's cheaper, 3 cents a gallon, but we don't ever think about money. Money works 24/7. Snow days, holidays, it doesn't take cigarette breaks, right? It goes, right? See, what happens is without introducing family and friends, we have no way to do this. I've been doing this now 27 years. I've never made a cold call. I've never knocked on doors. 100% of the business I did personally early on was through referrals. Because one of the things I found is when you show people how to save money versus spending money, you actually have more places to go than you have time to. So these are some of the concepts that we share. It says the first step to financial success is pay yourself first. Now, some people say, I don't have $10,000. Well, one of the things you could do is you can invest on a systematic basis, right? That's why a lot of times people maybe don't make millions of dollars a year, but retire with a lot of money because at work they have money come right out of their paycheck, right? The problem with most people is you get paid and then we spend whatever money we have and we try to save whatever's left over. You've got to make savings a bill, like your cell phone bill or your electric bill, right? You never went 6 months without paying your electric bill, did you? Because then you'd be watching TV in the dark, right? Okay, so $100 a month. Just kidding, $100 a month at 9% for 40 years, just as an analogy, right? At 27, $100 a month at 9% for 40 years would grow to $471,000. See, it's a small amount of money over a long period of time. That's how that rule of 72 compounds out. The challenge is everybody starts later. When I used to sit down with people individually all the time, people say, I wish I would have known this then. This is then. Right? The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The next best time is today. So there's a high cost of waiting. If you just wait 1 year and you don't save $100 a month, yeah, you save $1,200, but what it does is it costs you an interest rate of return over $41,000. That's just waiting 1 year. This is the cost of loss for 5 years is $175,000. If you wait 15 years, what you're doing is it's costing you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Who are you hurting when you wait? Yourself, right or wrong? Do you know your financial dependence number? We call it a FIN number. Your FIN number is the amount of money that has to go to work when you stop work. And see, retirement's not an age, it's an amount. Retirement means if you have enough money that goes to work so you don't have to, technically you're retired. I live in Florida right now, and Florida there's a lot of retired people. The problem is retiring is easy, you can retire tomorrow. Staying retired is the challenge, because people run out of money before they do. Because they don't put enough money away. They don't think about money compounding out. This gives you an example. If you want to retire in 30 years with $30,000 a year, that's a great concept. The challenge is 30 years from now, is a dollar going to be worth what a dollar is today? And I always use this example or analogy, right? If you took a dollar bill or a $100 bill, and you took a $100 bill out and you hit it, 20 years from now or 30 years from now, you pull out a $100 bill, it's still a $100 bill, right or wrong? Could this $100 bill buy what a $100 bill could buy 30 years ago? No. No way. It's called cost of loss or purchasing power. It's inflation. And inflation has averaged around 3% over the last 80 years. So when you factor in inflation, what you need $30,000 today, you're going to need $73,000 of spending money in the future. And that's part of your financial game plan. So looking at that right now, what you need to figure out is what's your FIN number. So this kind of just gives an example or an analogy. If somebody needs to have $73,000 coming in by the time they retire, or by the time that their life expectancy, so they don't run out before their money does, right? Or their money doesn't run out before they do. This person, as an example, needs to accumulate $1 million. $1 million is a lot of money. But it's not a lot of money if you have your money invested properly over a consistent period of time. Check this out. $585 a month for 30 years at 9% grows to $1 million. See, that's just an education. Now, a lot of us spend money all the time. We spend money. Most of the time, it's not making money. It's what we do after we get it. Spending money. So where do you find the $585? This is some examples, especially for some of us that are a little bit older, right? Over 20. Right? Right? Cell phones. I remember when we didn't have cell phones. Some of us have 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't see a lot of people without a cell phone today. It's amazing. We'll spend $50, $75, $100, right? Cable TV. Remember when you didn't have to have cable? You had those stupid things sticking up, right? So the bottom line is a lot of us spend $100, $200. That's without dirty movies. Sometimes it's more, right? Satellite radio in our car. All my cars have satellite radio. It's $10, $15, $20, right? Internet. Remember the dial-up, right? Now, if you don't have Wi-Fi, you're upset, right? So, I mean, we spend hundreds of dollars a month. So the question is, that's important for our life, but not as important for us to save for the future. So these are just other areas, categories, right? Insurance, these are different potential savings, right, that we educate people through their F&A, their life insurance, their taxes, right? Auto insurance, home insurance. How to eliminate taxes, how to pay less taxes by getting some tax deferred and tax deductibility options through your plans, through the IRAs or 401ks. Communications, how to save money in different areas that you're spending in. Media, right? A lot of areas that we show people how to free up money just by putting together a budget plan and through your financial needs analysis. The challenge is debt. It's a financial cancer. And so when you think about it right now, and it's been passed on generational, right? Paying the minimums over a credit card. Balance never goes away. You take the average credit card balance with just $1,000 making a minimum payments, because you know what happens. You get a bill that says you owe $1,000 and you could pay $26, and sometimes we get crazy and pay $30, right? It never goes away. Remember that rule of 72, it works against us too, right, folks? And then so some of the things that we educate our clients through the F&A is a debt stacking. Now, you don't need a seminar to tell you that if you pay off one credit card and add it to the other, but most people don't have the discipline. We need a system. And so this kind of just gives an example of a credit card, right? $220 a month, $353, and what the financial needs analysis does is identifies once this one's paid off, you take the $220 that you were paying, right? You're paying $2,700 a month. You continue to pay the $2,700. What a lot of times people do is they'll pay more on one credit card than pay. What we do is we show people how to add that, and we call it a debt stacking. And now you start adding. So now what you're doing is you're paying your highest interest rate first. And by doing that, you debt stack it and you eliminate your debt 100%. Let me ask you all a question. If you had no credit card debt, no student loans debt, no debt whatsoever, could you save more money? Yes. The answer is absolutely, right? So now what you do is once that person does that, you educate them on how to take some of that money. See, this person would have been paid off in 23 years with $214,000 of debt. Just by accelerating that, that's paid off in 8 years. You take the money that you were saving, and invest the difference. You see the concepts, guys? That's over $2 million at age 65 for a person in their 40s. See, do the banks make that? The banks are making that on their money. The insurance companies, what we do is we educate people on how to put their money where the banks and credit unions and insurance companies put their money, right back into the global economy. That's the education we provide. Which program, right? A or B? Obviously B makes more sense. What happens is most people say, which one do you want? A or A, right? Because we're not educated. To see another area that people get taken advantage of pretty bad is with insurance. With insurance, the life insurance industry has sold policies for the last 80, 90, 100 years that benefits them better than it benefits a client or a consumer. There's two basic kinds of insurance. There's what's called cash value. It's called whole life, universal life, variable life, endowment life, go get a life, where's your wife? There's 80 million different kinds of insurance. It's any type of insurance that has a savings program. And then there's pure protection, which is term insurance. Every single company that I know of in the United States, there's over 900 companies, every company sells what's called cash value and term, okay? Primerica is the only company I know of. We own a company called Primerica Life, National Benefit Life. It's the only company I know of that sells term insurance 100%. So let me give you a concept here. This is an example. This is just a client. We changed the name to keep the innocent, all right? John, 35 with $150,000, Mary, 33 with $150,000, right? Spending $298 a month because they buy it as an investment. They buy it as a retirement plan. They buy it as a college fund. Mathematically, it doesn't make sense. The first challenge is because it's expensive. Most people are over-premiumed and underinsured. How long would $150,000 last a person 35 with children? Not too long, right? See, we all know our date of birth. We don't know our date of death. And it has cash value in there. Some of it's guaranteed, some of it's not, but it's usually very low. So let's go through it. See, the question that you need to ask yourself, first of all, is does your auto insurance have a savings program? No. So why should your life insurance, right? Does your health insurance have a savings program? Homeowners insurance, right? Why should your life insurance? I have motorcycles, no insurance, boat insurance. No insurance has a savings program. What we do is we teach people how to take their insurance and their investments and separate the two. My opinion, you should never invest. If you want an investment, you go directly through an investment. You don't go through your insurance policy to make an investment. So really the solution is, what's the alternative? The solution to this is buy term and invest the difference, where you buy term insurance, take the difference, and invest it in a separate account. And so by owning term insurance is more cost effective. So what happens is you can usually get a lot more protection for a lot less money, more protection for less premium. This gives an example. For the same exact client, for a level term policy, they could have $300,000 on the husband, $300,000 on the wife, $25,000 on all their children for $123 a month. So it's more insurance for less money, right? The same $298 gets spent, but we take the difference and we invest it. If we took the difference, which is $175 a month at 9%, by age 70, that's $500,000. So the real question is, if you have $500,000 worth of savings in a separate account, do you really need $150,000 or $300,000 of life insurance? See, really what we do, folks, is we show people how to get out of insurance. Which program? If this was A and this was B, what program would you be more interested in? Think about it this way as a business, right? If you sat down with 10 people out of 10 people, how many people out of 10 would go from A to B? The answer is 11. Okay? See, most people would. So the theory of decreased responsibility is what we do. We educate people on how to own insurance during their peak responsibility period, because this is how life works. In the early years, you need a lot of coverage. Why? Because when you're younger, you have high debt, you have young children, you have a house mortgage, a loss of income. At that point, you'd be devastated, right? It's your peak responsibility period. But as you get older, towards retirement, and your children are grown, you're retired, right? Your debt is lowered, your mortgage is paid. What you need to do at retirement is have savings, have investments. The problem with cash value insurance is it kind of goes right down the middle. It's too expensive in the early years, and it's not enough savings or investments to retire on. And so what we do, folks, is the focus is not so that when you pass away at 92 years old, you leave $300,000 in life insurance to your 72-year-old son or daughter. You have it during your peak responsibility periods. As an example, if you get rid of your car, do you still need to insure the vehicle that you don't have anymore? Same concept, right? It says what life insurance companies do is they teach us. Most companies don't teach us how to eliminate insurance. What we do is we actually show people how to get out of insurance when they don't need it anymore and put that towards investments. See, growing up, what were most people taught about going into business for themselves? And this is really what I want to talk to you about, which is why you're invited down here tonight. We wanted to share, is the company credible, not just credible, but incredible. We also wanted to talk about, is there a need for what we do? In any business you look at, there's got to be a need, right or wrong. If I said we were this huge company and we marketed 8-track cassette tapes, do you think there'd be a big need? All young people don't know what the heck I'm talking about. Most of you didn't drive here tonight listening to your 8-track player in your car. And if you did, this is where you pay attention, okay? When I first looked at Primerica, I was 22 years old making $70,000 a year, which was a lot of money back in 1987, especially for a young kid with no education. But I knew two things. I didn't want to do what I was doing for the rest of my life. I wanted to make more money, and I wanted to have an opportunity to own my own business and control my future. And so when I got invited down here, the first few slides that they went over wasn't really interesting to me until the speaker started talking about the business opportunity. And this is what intrigued me 27 years ago. So let me kind of go through it. What were most people taught about going into business like myself? Nothing, right? Most business courses in college are taught by people that aren't even in business, if you think about it that way, right? It says dependence or independence. A job teaches people dependence. Entrepreneur gives you independence. It gives you an opportunity to have unlimited income. So let's look at it right here. I'll get a good job. Nearly half of working Americans with college degrees are overqualified. Most people who have a college degree aren't using that degree. I think college is very important. I think education is important, but it's not always the answer to make more money. Most people aren't using their degree in the field that they went to school for. Twice as many grads are on minimum wage jobs as 5 years ago. Recent college graduates in the United States face a challenging job market right now. It's trying to go out and get a job. I used to do orientations or seminars all the time back in the late 80s, early 90s, and I would talk to people about our business, and they'd say, well, I'm in between jobs right now. I lost my job on Friday. I start my new job next Monday. Now I talk to people, oh, I'm in between. Well, how long have you been out of work? 6 years. Oh, that's in between, right? So a lot of people have, so what we have is an alternative where people can come on board and take a look at what we're doing, maybe on a part-time basis, which I'll talk about in a minute. It says, I've got a good job. There's other people that think they have a good job. The challenge is a good job. 3% pay increases, which means if the cost of living is going up 3% and so is your income, 5, 10, 15 years from now, you could actually be at the same place, if not a little bit worse financially. American dreams fade for the next generation coming through. So let me share some things that we do, okay? Because a lot of times as we look at who we are and what we do, what we're not is we're not a financial services company. We're a distribution of financial products. We're not looking to take some people on board and become financial experts, okay? These are some of the companies that work for us. These are some of the companies that you have in your corner. As you drove down here tonight thinking, do I want to work for Primerica? In actuality, folks, we go to work for you. Our job would be to get you licensed, get you trained, get you competent in all the areas that we do business in. So Primerica Life has been in business for almost 100 years. This is the company that only markets term insurance 100%. We're not an insurance company, but that's one of our companies that we represent, right? Auto and home. We're not an auto and home company, but we do auto insurance and homeowners insurance through a referral program. We depending on the state, we run your license through a computer, depending on the state you live in, and sometimes 10, 12, 14 different companies, and we show you how to save money on auto insurance, okay? If we add value, we do business. Long-term care through Genworth Financial. That's an avenue where people have a need because people are living longer and longer today. Annuities through MetLife, right? Also Lincoln Financial. These are who we do our variable annuities. For the right person, it's a tremendous product when a person, for tax deferral benefits. 401k plans, we do small business 401k plans. As you're starting to see, what we do is we educate middle income people kind of from A to Z, okay? And so mutual funds, right? We market mutual funds for a lot of different companies. Some of you might have heard of the companies that we represent. We don't manage mutual funds. I've been doing this for a long time. We have billions of dollars of assets under management, and I don't manage anyone's money, right? What we do is we take Wall Street concepts and we bring it to Main Street. I never heard the word mutual fund in 1987. No one ever came up to me in high school and go, how's your mutual fund doing? I thought mutual fund was something you did with your girl on the weekend, a little mutual fund. Like I didn't know what mutual fund. I didn't realize that mutual funds, you could get involved in mutual funds for a few dollars a month, $25, $50 a month. That you could have diversified portfolios, professional money management. And we have the greatest financial minds in the world managing and investing our money. My kids' college funds are in mutual funds, managed through the company. My retirement is managed through all this education we learned here at Primerica, right? Managed accounts through Lockwood, legal protection, right? Those are different areas or avenues that you can protect your assets, right? Freedom Financial Network programs through Primerica Debt Watchers. So really what we do is we utilize all these different resources. We've got experts in all the areas we do business that work for us. So picture this, right? You join our company, you walk into someone's house once you're licensed and competent. You don't walk in by yourself. I don't walk in as a plumber, and I taught a karate school, which is what I used to do for a living. I walk in with the greatest financial minds in the world at our resources. It's like being in business for yourself, but not by yourself. You with me? See, our target is to capture the market share. As great as our company's been, as great as Primerica has set tremendous records in the industry, right? We've got millions and millions of clients. We've got thousands of offices throughout the country. We're in Puerto Rico, we're in Canada, we're in Guam, wherever the heck Guam is, but we got offices in Guam, okay? And we still have less than 2% market share. And our company's goal, I heard someone say, our company's goal, we want to capture 10% market share. I've been here 27 years. Our market is actually bigger today than when I started. As great as we've done, we have more people in debt than ever before. More people are retiring in poverty versus retiring in dignity. So people need education. So we're not here to peddle something. We're looking to take some people on board, put them through a training program, put them through the system so that we can go attack the market and go capture that market that's out there. So there's 4 basic ways. Just like you sat and I went over the rule of 72, right? We talked about 3%, 6%, and 12%. You don't need a seminar to tell you that 12% and 6% is better than 3%. But most people don't realize it's a couple million better. And just like you want to get a better rate of return on your money, how do you get a better rate of return on your time? See, every one of us has a different amount of money in our pocket right now. But where we're all equal, every day we wake up with 24 hours in our day, 7 days in our week, 1,440 minutes, right or wrong. So the same way you want to get a better rate of return on your money, you should learn how to get a better rate of return on your time. The first one being an employee, second one being self-employed, third one being a business owner, and the fourth one being an investor. And I'm going to touch on each one of these and tell me if it makes sense, right? As an employee, you have a job. Income is based on the position, not the person. See, a lot of us are frustrated, also known as upset, because we're not earning the money we want to earn. But in actuality, folks, we earn the money for the position we're in. When I was a plumber, I made what a plumber got paid. My brother was a police officer. He got paid what a police officer got paid. Some of you might be a school teacher or work for the U.S. Postal Service, right? As an example, right? If you're a school teacher and I'm a school teacher, and we're both teaching for 10 years, we're going to make about the same amount of money, right or wrong? Right. What if she's 10 times better than I am? She's not going to make 10 times the money because she's going to get paid for the position. And as people get downsized and right-sized and laid off and fired, the challenge is as we get older sometimes in business, we have more got up and went than get up and go. Health insurance costs. So if people start getting laid off, see when you get laid off at 22, 25, 28, it's different. When you get laid off in your 50s, it's harder to rebound and go get another. You start hearing things like, I'm overqualified, which is code for we're not paying you what you're worth, okay? So another way, when people lose their job or get downsized, a lot of times people say, well, I'm going to take some money I have, I'm going to start my own business, and they become self-employed. And there's a huge difference between being self-employed and owning your own business. But self-employed has better options because it gives you freedom. You become the boss. You don't own a job. You don't own a business. You own a job. See, a dentist, a doctor, a lawyer, a hairstylist, a real estate agent, a salesperson. See, self-employed means the better you get at your craft, the more earning potential you have. So now as an example, let's just say she's a lawyer and I'm a lawyer. And she's 10 times better than I am. You want to use her if you have a problem, right or wrong? Right? If you're an accountant and I'm an accountant and she's a lot better than me, you want to use. So the better you get at your craft, the more earning potential you have. But the biggest challenge of being self-employed is right here. Self-employed means yourself is employed, right? And that means that if you work hard and you get good, you can make a lot of money. But two things happen in life, folks. You max out or you burn out. You got 24 hours in your day. I got 24 hours in my day. There's only so much we can do in that period of time. So we all know people that are self-employed. They make a lot of money. They work crazy hours. They become workaholics. They make a lot of money. So a lot of times when people are self-employed, they make a lot of money, but they have no time, no freedom, right or wrong? Right. Then we know other people that are pretty much free all year. They just don't have any freaking money, right? So how do you have that? How you do that is by owning a business that doesn't require you to be there 100 and 200 hours a week, right? See, you could be a dentist or you can open up a dental practice. You could be a lawyer or you could own a law firm. You could be a real estate agent or you could be a real estate broker. You could be a hairstylist, you could own a salon with 10 or 15 different people, right or wrong? Now what happens is if you owned a hair salon and it was open right now and you're sitting with me and someone's cutting hair, technically they're getting paid and so are you, aren't you? That's leverage, folks. Watch this. See, a business owner owns a system, has others working for them, a limited income potential, manufacturing, marketing. Everybody would like to own a business. Everybody wouldn't mind owning a fast food restaurant or owning a franchise, a successful franchise. You wouldn't open up a franchise maybe for the products. Like in a fast food business, you wouldn't want to own a fast food franchise maybe for the hamburgers and the french fries. You'd own a franchise for the business opportunity, for the distribution. So if you have a franchise, right, or you have a store that you own, there's only so many people that are going to come in there. There's only so many people that are going to come in during the hours you're open. You have a limited time frame to make income. But how you put more hours in your days, you open up more outlets, more distribution. What you'll find is most people that own a fast food restaurant or most people that own a gas station, they don't work there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They have others working for them. So what if you could own a franchise kind of without the fee? What if you could own a fast food restaurant? You wouldn't do it for the product, you do it for the business opportunity. So when you look at Primerica, if you went into business for yourself but not by yourself, you could train and develop other people how to open up their own business. Everybody would like to be in their own business, especially, how about this? The more money you make at Primerica, the more people you help. The more people you help, the more money you make. It's a win-win situation. And the ultimate goal, folks, is to become an investor. Has money working for them, enjoys complete freedom, and lives the dream. The ultimate goal is to have money working for you so it doesn't work against you. And what we do at Primerica, folks, is we take people from the left side to the right side. We start out part-time. I was part-time for 4 years. I started out part-time. When I first took a look at Primerica, I got my license, which the company paid for. And now, they pay for it now, but I'll talk about it in a second. My first year part-time, I was paid $18,000. It's not all the money in the world, but it was an extra $1,500 a month. And I kept my full-time job because the person who closed my meeting, I remember him saying, if I could show you how to make more money part-time than you're making full-time, would you consider a career change? I was like, damn Skippy. I didn't believe him, but I would consider it. Second year, I started making $2,000 or $3,000 a month. Third year, I started making $6,000 or $7,000 a month, some months part-time. My fourth year, I made over $100,000, made $147,000. Then I quit my job and became a regional vice president. Now, everybody goes at different paces, right? But when you look at it right here, we take people through the process and we teach them how to go into business for themselves and not by themselves. And would you agree that if you increase your income and eliminate your debt, you could save more money so you truly could become an investor of your time and money? So which two ways appeal to you most? Obviously the right side. So the ultimate goal is you want to get licensed for one reason, so you can get paid. And I remember when I first walked into my meeting, some guy goes, is this one of those fly-by-night things? No, we fly by day also, okay? Because we're in a regulated industry. How many of you in this room have a real estate license or ever had a real estate license? Okay? If you have a real estate license, you have to pay for that license, don't you? How many have a driver's license? Who paid for that? You did. How many have a marriage license? Still paying. No, I'm just kidding. So when you have a license in the state you live in, there's fees, licensing fees involved. When I started, Back in 1987, I had to pay for my license to be qualified to work with Primerica because we're in a regulated industry. You still have to be licensed to work with us in all the areas we do business in or certified, but now the company has a licensing process where they actually pay for you and reimburse your licensing, which is incredible. Watch this. It says right here, you pay $99 and $25 a month. Your investment is $99, and that $99 doesn't go to the person that recruited you. Like if I recruited you into Primerica, I don't get 90 and the company gets 9, okay? That's licensing fees that go to your state licensing fees. Actually, the licensing fees right here, that's what you pay. We pay state licensing fees, the exam fees, fingerprint background, PFSU, which is our class, okay? Whether it's online or an education center. And then you qualify for district and the company reimburses you for your securities license. When I started, I paid almost $700 for my life license and almost $450 for my securities license. I paid over $1,100 to get licensed so I can make extra income. Now the company pays for it. I'm trying to get a reimbursement back from them, okay? But they pay for it now, which is incredible. Sometimes people go to me, oh, I don't have the $99. Please don't take this the wrong way, but if you don't have $99, whatever the heck you're doing is not working. I was 22 years old making 70 grand a year and I didn't have an extra $99. Something was wrong with that picture because I had a bunch of credit card debt. But if there's value and you can make extra income, you could free up $99, right or wrong? Total value is approximately $900, right? What's that $25 a month? I always use the example of it's like real estate, right? If you get a real estate license, in real estate you become part of the multiple listings and there's different fees where you're tied into a system. What this is, we talked about being in business for yourself but not by yourself. We have websites, designs, business reports, that's all done for us. We run our whole business from a smartphone or a computer. You've got live on-demand video training, you got Morningstar analysis. If you did it on your own, it's thousands of dollars a year. That's part of that $25 investment. It doesn't go to the company, it goes to the incentives to help you build a company, right? And this is really what I'll talk to you about right now. Picture this, okay? If you came on board part-time and you put in 5, 8, 10 hours a week, and you freed up some extra income, it's amazing how many times I see people that go, oh, I'm really busy, everyone's busy, right? I remember talking to a buddy of mine I haven't seen in years since high school. I said, how you doing? Whew, crazy busy. Where you working? I'm out of work. What the heck are you talking about, right? Everybody's busy, but are you productive busy? See, most of us watch way too much TV, too many sports, on the computer, playing games, way too much time wasted. So what I found is most people can put an extra 5 or 8 or 10 hours a week in part-time. So what if you kept your full-time job, kept your situation, whether you're in school or working right now, and put an extra 8 or 10 hours a week in part-time and came through the licensing process. And we got you licensed. We don't just give you a kit and say, hey, go get him, give me a call if it works out. The person that trained me said this to me. He said, I'll take you out and field train you, and I'll go out with you for as many times as you don't need my help anymore. I said, wait a second, you're going to do the work and I can get compensated? I'm interested. And he said, you don't have to do it until you feel comfortable. And I did it for a period of time with him until I felt comfortable going. Everybody goes at their own pace, which is what's unique about our business. I was able to start part-time and keep my security of my full-time job. So if this is you, this actually isn't you, but if this was you, right? And you got licensed with us and you did 2 personal F&As, a district, somebody that's a level of leadership in our company, you can get that in 30, 60, 90 days. You get licensed with our company. As a district leader, you do 2 model F&As. Personally, that's a potential of $2,400 for 2 F&As. Now, let me tell you how that works. Sometimes you'll do insurance and investments. Maybe you don't do debt elimination. Sometimes you'll do debt elimination, you'll do investments. Maybe you don't do income protection, right? Most of the clients that we sit down with that are in our market, people that are married, own a home, have kids, over 25 people, they do business in a bunch of different areas with us through that financial needs analysis. So this is just a concept, right? But 2 F&As, that's $2,400 a month. What if you had a few people working with you? See, if this was you by yourself, 2 things happen. You max out a burnout. This is like being self-employed. But if we taught you how to build a business, right? If you owned a restaurant and you had more people to help at the restaurant, to serve at the restaurant than you had help, what would you have to do? You'd have to recruit and hire some more people to work there, right or wrong? If you owned a gas station, there's 85 people online trying to get gas, you better have more attendants to help you. True or not true? True. See, we have more people. When I first came, more people than we can handle. When I first came on board, I got licensed and I would sit down with people, I'd save them money, I made some extra income. And what I realized was I had more people to see than I had time to. So we started recruiting people. But I don't want you to think about recruiting somebody. What I want you to think about is creating leverage. How much work did the person do that invited you down here this evening? Nothing. Okay? You can say it. Watch this. If you came on board with us and you invited somebody down to an orientation like this, or invited somebody down to meet with one of the leaders, and you invited them down, and we were to recruit them, we were to train them, and the company was to pay them, and you were to override them, how many people would you invite down? As many as you could. It's not a trick question. If you invited somebody down here, and we were to recruit them, we were to train them, and the company was to pay them, and you were to override them, how many people would you invite down? That's why there's a lot of people here tonight. So let's just say, who wouldn't you invite? You'd want to help first? People you knew, right? Friends and family. Sometimes people go, do I have to talk to people I know? I go, who don't you know, right? The first people you'd want to help is friends or family. So let's just say you invited, as an example, Mary, Bill, and Kevin. John, Sally, and Linda. Any 3 people you know, right? So if you invited them down here, now what happens is you get paid based on what you do, and then you would get an override. See, once these guys and gals got licensed, the company would pay them, and they would pay you an override. So now you get paid based on what you do and what you get done. So this is your personal numbers, right? If you did 5 F&As from your team, that's $3,600. That's $1,100 in overrides plus your personal. So you could be sitting home, picture this, sitting at home one night, watching TV or watching a game or out to dinner with your family, and somebody could be helping a client, the company would pay them, and they would pay you an override. If it didn't come out of their pocket and it came from the company, do you think they would care? No. See, what I'm trying to share with you folks, if you come on board with us, we have a financial interest in you. And what does that mean, financial interest? That means the better you do, the better we do. Knowing we're going to join you, what do you think we're going to show you, success or failure? Success. Not sex, but I like the way you think. Success. We're going to show you success, okay? So if you look at this right here, this is a regional leader position. This is our top part-time position. This is where maybe you love what you do, you enjoy what you do, maybe you're doing okay at your job, but you just need to make extra income. This is where you don't ever have to quit your job. You could be here for the rest of your life, okay? A regional leader position, right? Now what happens is it's an increase in income, but it's also an increase in outcome. Watch this. Personally, 3 F&As, now you're making $4,800 a month by helping people out. $4,800 a month. 3 F&As is less than 1 a week. Less than 1 a week is none. We're not talking about setting any records here, right? That's great part-time income, right? A regional leader might have 8, 10, 12, or 15 or 20 people on their team minimum. So between your team that does 6 F&As, now what you're going to find is sometimes you'll have people that are part-time, sometimes you'll have people that are full-time, and some people have spare time, and then people have no damn time, okay? And everybody, it's like going to the gym, right? Not everybody goes to the gym, signs up for the gym, goes there 20 hours a week. The greatest thing about Primerica is you can put as little or as a lot of time and effort into the business, right? That's a potential cash flow of $7,000 a month. Let me ask you a question. If you were making more money part-time than you're making full-time, would you consider a career change? Yes. See, that's what I said. So I said, okay, I don't know if I can do this, but what if I got my license and they took me through the process right here? Once you reach $50,000, $80,000 a year in income, then you start putting more time, investing more time in our business. I was part-time for 4 years before I quit my job because I didn't know if this was for me. And the greatest thing is they let me do this at my own pace. Let me give you an analogy. And I use this analogy all the time because when I sat through this business briefing, the first night I sat here, I said, this is very similar to real estate. Now, we have nothing to do with real estate, except the example is, in real estate, you can get licensed as an agent, and you could be part-time, right? And so as an agent, you can get licensed. So if a person lists or sells a home as an agent, they get 3%. If they list and sell a home. If a broker lists and sells a home, as a broker, they get paid 6% on average. And I'm just giving you an analogy or a concept here. Let's look at the agent. Limited income potential, no security, no time. Because an agent, if they sell a home, they get paid. If they don't sell a home, they don't get paid. But there's a lot of people that start off part-time, have a full-time job and start off part-time. And one of the guys that worked with me when I was in construction said, hey, I'm getting my real estate license. I said, why are you getting a real estate? What do you know? But he goes, no, I'm going to keep my job in construction and maybe on the weekends and night put a couple hours in and make some extra income. So when I sat through the business briefing, Primerica, I said, this is very similar. I could get licensed part-time. I don't have to take a chance. I could use a chance. It made sense to me, right? So if on a home that's $100,000, now most homes aren't $100,000, but it's easy to multiply here, okay? So if an agent sold a home and they got paid 3%, because agents get 3 on average and brokers get 6. So brokers get 6 and agents get 3. So now they'd make $3,000. As a broker, you'd make $6,000. Now most people say, well, I'd rather be a broker than an agent. Yeah, you make more commission, but you don't make big money in real estate based on what you sell. It's what you get sold. Because when you're a broker, can't you recruit, train, and develop agents? Watch this. So if this is you as a broker, you get 6%, the agent gets 3%. If the agent sells a home, the broker gets what's called a 3% override. What if you were a real estate broker and you had agents here? Every time you had an agent that got paid $3,000, you'd make a $3,000 override. What if you had 5 agents? You'd have more leverage, right or wrong? Right. See, we're not in a real estate business. We're in a financial distribution business. And so what happens is maybe not everybody you know is looking for a new home. But everybody you know and everybody you come in contact with needs to get out of debt, needs to save money, needs to protect their assets, needs to have a financial game plan, right or wrong. Right. So every single human being that you and I come in contact with is a potential client or it could be a potential associate because everybody needs extra income. Pretty cool concept, right? Yes. So what we do is we take people on board part-time like agents, we call them reps, and we teach them how to become brokers, which are regional vice presidents. And what I do for a living now is I locate, train, and develop people to become regional vice presidents. I was on a plane yesterday and someone says, what do you do? I said, I train and develop people to become vice presidents. That's what my focus is right now. So I got licensed so I could learn the business so I could show other people how to do it so we could create leverage. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay. Which would you rather be, an agent or a broker? Obviously a broker, right? But you've got to be an agent first to learn the process. Primerica's business model, broker equals regional vice president. What does that mean? As an RVP, regional vice president, you max out your compensation. Now you get full commissions, max out your compensation. Advances and earns, which is residual income. Overrides, right? An override is the income you receive from the effort of other people making money. Let me say that again. An override is the income you receive from the effort of other people making money. See, we don't get paid to recruit somebody. We get paid to recruit people that become successful, which means we're in it with you, right? Overrides. Monthly bonuses. As a regional vice president, you have potential to get monthly bonuses, potentially thousands of dollars a month in monthly bonuses, right? Residual income, 12B1 fees. When you become a regional vice president, you max out your compensation in areas like investments in the securities business where you get residual income. And as the market continues to grow and as your assets continue to grow, your income and residual income continue to grow. Stock opportunities, right? You have opportunities to purchase stock, but you also have stock opportunities for stock grants. As vice president, the Primerica's put stock aside, so if you hit some incentives, you have an opportunity where they gift and invest in our representatives, which is incredible. You have stock opportunities, and then ownership. We teach people how to be in business for themselves and not by themselves. Everybody wants to own something. Everybody wants to own something. You'd rather own a home than rent a home, right? You'd rather own a car than rent a car. You ever go on vacation and have a rental car? Did you ever wash it before you dropped it off? I was just in Europe, I rented a car. Do you think I changed the oil before I brought it back the next day? No. When you own something, you treat it differently, don't you? Yes. And when people take ownership of their business, they treat it differently. And the thing that intrigued me about Primerica was the fact that I could own and operate my own business. As a regional vice president, that's 12 clients a month, 12 financial needs analysis is $100,000 a year. The average regional vice president in Primerica last year was paid over $100,000. So watch this. You invite somebody down, you recruit them, and we pay them, and you override them. Every time that they get paid, you get paid. Kind of like a broker and agent, right? Some of these might be part-time, some might be full-time. What happens here is, which would you rather be, an agent or a regional vice president? We teach people how to become vice presidents. That's our focus. That's why you're here tonight. We're on a tremendous expansion phase. So the key is developing regional vice presidents. It's outlets. The key to our distribution system is distribution, and distribution in our business is people. And one of the things you'll find is everybody wants to be in their own business. The guy who painted my house last year used to work for the guy that used to paint my house. He said, I'm going to business for myself. See, the problem with business in the real world is if you have a business and you've got a lot of people that work with you, everybody becomes ambitious, wants to leave. Once an agent in real estate becomes a broker, they leave. In our business, we encourage people to become brokers, and then they expand and open up offices, and you have a financial interest in them forever. My landscaper used to work for my landscaper. It's very rare you see a landscaper with 400 employees, because once they hire and train and develop people, they want to leave and open up their own business because everybody wants to be their own boss. So if this is you and you're a regional vice president, you run a base shop, which is part-timers, full-timers in your base shop. You run a base shop for one reason, so you can develop outlets and develop regional vice presidents. So if this is your base shop or your office and you expand and develop brokers or regional vice presidents, right? Your team, you're identifying by working and recruiting and training people, you're identifying people that want to become owners in their own business or brokers or regional vice presidents. The company allows them to have their own team and have their own business and take ownership. So now what happens is, now you get paid based on what you do and what you create leverage. You create more hours in your day. So if this is you and you're a regional vice president, every time you promote a regional vice president and they make $100,000 a year as an average, you have potential to make $50,000, $70,000, $80,000 plus in overrides. Think about this. How long does it take at your job to make $50,000? Don't say it. Just think it. How long does it take? For you to make $50,000, you got to duplicate that. When I sat here years ago, I said, wait a second, if I can invite somebody down, recruit them, train them, and develop them, and they become a vice president, the company pays them, and they pay us an override, and I have potential to make $50,000 every time I produce a regional vice president, I started looking at people and say, wait, that's $50,000, that's $100,000, that's $150,000, that's $200,000. That's more hours in your day. That's leverage, right or wrong? Right? The ultimate goal is building distribution. Why? If this is you and you have 3 regional vice presidents direct to you, then you become what's called a senior vice president. A senior vice president has potential to earn $300,000 a year. See, I know this. At my job, where I used to work, this wasn't even a possibility. And the reason we make more than $300,000 a year is not because I'm good at this thing, and I am. No, it's because we have more than 3 regional vice presidents. And the company said we can build as many vice presidents as we want. We can build distribution, unlimited income potential. It's unbelievable. We can promote as many as you want. Some of you never heard of Primerica before, and that's okay. I never heard of Primerica before I sat down with and sat through an orientation either. I never heard of the company. They don't do a ton of advertising, okay? Now, I've heard of a lot of the companies that Primerica does business with. I remember doing a meeting one night, and I said, I never heard of Primerica. Some guy goes, I never heard of Primerica. I said, I never heard of you either, right? No, but we never heard of Primerica. But what I didn't realize when I first started is Primerica has more people making over $50,000, $100,000, $1 million more than any other company in the United States that I know of. Look at this. Since 1977, 5,700 people making over $50,000 a year. A lot of those people are part-time. 2,700 people are making over $100,000 a year. 65 people have been paid between $1 million and $5 million a year. See, I know this, where I worked, that wasn't even possible or even probable based on what I was doing. There wasn't enough hours in my day. So my thought was, what if I kept my full-time job and did this part-time? What I realized was, since 2000, half of the leaders have developed in the last 14, 15 years, because our company has grown like this. And we still have less than 2% market share, which means the potential isn't big, it's huge. There's a big market that we can't handle. That's why you're here, right? So unprecedented recruiting opportunity, right? I said, is there a need for what we do? When I started out, start building your team. Mainstream families are being ignored. We're one of the companies that serve this market. I don't know any other company that does all those things that we do. There's companies that do parts of what we do. If you think about it, we offer products that people need. See, there's a huge difference between what people want and what people need. Everybody wants a big home. Everybody wants fancy cars. Everybody wants nice clothes. But you don't need them. What you need is you need to protect your assets. What you need to do is protect your income. What you need to do is invest for the future. What you need to do is take care of your financial house, right or wrong? Right. Low upfront cost. It really should say no upfront cost. You invest money in it and the company reimburses you and pays for your licensing. And even if you came on board and you left Primerica, you take that license with you. It's an individual license. No inventory. We have thousands of representatives in our organization. We have no inventory. A lot of us run our business from our computers or from our smartphones. Untapped market that people are being ignored. There's a lot of Wall Street companies, but nobody targets middle income people. Financially solid company. It's a huge company with a great track record. Ultimate business support. I talked about being in business for yourself but not by yourself. Unlimited income potential. Why is it unlimited? I have friends when I start, I have unlimited income. You have unlimited income in a limited period of time. In our business, you can leverage your time by the more people you recruit, it's more hours in your day, right? 24 hours in your day, 24 hours in my day, we work together, that's 48, 72, almost 100, right? 96, right? You leverage your time, right? So you're in control. This is the option, right? You keep your job and the next 5 years look like the last 5. The only thing constant in life is change. But what happens is if things don't change, things don't change. I don't know about you, but the older we get, it seems like the faster life goes. 5 years went like this in the last 5 years. And what's really changed? See, in our business right now, if you don't change something, the next 5 years are going to look exactly like the last 5. Or you keep your job and come part-time, build a business until you put yourself in a position to make a career change. You go at your own pace or make some extra income through the process. Put together your financial house, right? Let me tell you what you get. And this is what I tell people. My feeling is, worst case scenarios, there's a few things that are going to happen if you come on board. You get an education. You get an education on how money works. You get an education how to put yourself in a financial situation so you retire in dignity versus poverty. Put you together how to have money working for you so it doesn't work against you. You get a great education. I know this. Sometimes people go, I don't know if this is for me. My feeling is this. Everybody who looks at Primerica should give this an opportunity, give this a shot, give this 30 to 60 days. I have children. Every time we take our kids out to eat and they've never eaten something before, they go, oh, I don't like that. Have you ever had it? If you haven't had it, you try it. If you don't like it, you don't eat it again. How do you know if you like this business if you don't try it? That's the way I looked at it. I figured, what the heck do I have to lose? Let me give this thing 30 to 60 days. Worst case scenarios, I thought I'll get an education on how money works. Second thing that's going to happen is we'll help some people. Every time we put together a financial needs analysis, we do not do business unless we add value, right? So I didn't join here to help people. At 22 years old, I didn't go, wow, I can help people. A few weeks into the business, we started sitting down, doing financial needs analysis. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh, we help people, you know? Because the more people we help, the more I started realizing it brought my belief level up, okay? And so what I realized is if you gave this thing 30 or 60 days, you'll get an education and you'll help some people through the process. And what you'll find is you'll help some people that you know and love. And then the third thing that's going to happen is you'll make some extra income. If you just kept your full-time job and you made some extra income, we have a training reimbursement program. It's called a distribution builder's bonus where you come on board while you're coming through the licensing process, okay? We can actually get you out there and prove to you, because tonight we told you what we do. What we'll actually do is take you out there and show you what we do, show you how to recruit somebody on your team. We'll show you how to implement the financial needs analysis. When you do that, right, you'll get paid $100 for going one by one, one recruit, one new associate, one F&A implemented. You do 3 by 3. We recruit 3 people for you, right, with you, and implement 3 financial needs analysis. You get licensed, you get a $300 training reimbursement, which covers your cost. So you didn't lay any money out. All you did is invest some time. And what you'll find is the time you invest will be worth it if we're able to do these things for you. So your next step, there's only 2 different people in this room right now. One of you saying, you know, it sounds good, but I need to get some more information. So if that's the case, then your next step is to set up a time to get together with the person who invited you down here. Schedule a follow-up meeting, a one-on-one interview where we sit down. Tonight we take a lot of stuff and we dump it on you in a short period of time. I always say it's like taking a drink out of a fire hose. It's like, shh, right? It's a lot of information. If you have some concerns or some questions, then set up a time to get together with the person who invited you down here. Let them sit down with your regional leader or regional vice president, one of the leaders in the office. We call it a one-on-one interview. We ask some questions, answer some questions, see if there's a mutual interest. Then we would fill out your IBA and get you started on a part-time career. The other type of person in this room is just like me. I didn't have to sit in a meeting to tell you I wasn't making all the money I wanted to make. I didn't have to sit in a meeting to tell you I wanted to make some extra income. Some people want to get started tonight. And if that's the case, then the person who invited you down here, set up a time tonight, talk to them about the accelerator program. We could fill out your IBA tonight and get you started and get you through the licensing and the training process. See, your next step would be to set up a time to get together with the person who invited you down here and let us prove to you what we showed you tonight is fact. Let me tell you this, okay? I've been doing this a long time. And sometimes people walk out of my meeting and they say, well, I don't know if this is for me. And I get it, because it's a lot of information over a short period of time. Tonight's not for you to quit your job or make a career change. Tonight's for you to try something and see if it makes sense for you to learn more about who we are and what we do. But the fact it's not for you means you don't understand what we do yet. And I get it, okay? Sometimes people go, this is not for me. And I always say to them, which part didn't you like? The fact that we make a lot of money or the fact that we help a lot of people? Like, which one offended you most, okay? See, what you'll find is, folks, what we do for people is better than we talked about tonight. And the income potential is a lot better long-term for who we are and what we do. So thanks for listening to us tonight. We're going to pass out a questionnaire, which is going to talk about your interest, part-time income, full-time income. I'd like to schedule an interview. On that questionnaire, you might say, how do I get one of those financial needs analysis? That's not why you're invited down here tonight, but they could schedule time to do that for you, complimentary. Thanks for listening to us tonight. And Give me a hand. I did a very good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
Okay.
Great. Well, what intrigued you most about what you sat through tonight?
Well, I'm interested in the business opportunity.
Excellent, excellent. That's what I saw the first night I sat down. Actually, that's what Claudia was interested in also. And the fact that we help people through the process is kind of just an extra benefit. Is she looking to get started on accelerated game plans?
Yes, she wants to get started working right now.
Okay, great, great. So how many hours a week are you working?
40 hours.
40 hours. Okay, now you mentioned you had children. Is there anyone else involved in making a decision?
Well, I would need to speak to my husband, but I'm ready to get started.
All right, awesome. So this is what we'll do then. We'll start the first process tonight, which is the gathering information for the IBA. And what that is we gather information. It's an independent business agreement to get you off to a fast start.
Okay.
And then, Claudia, what we'll do is we'll set up a time to get back together, maybe in your house. This way, because tonight we told you what we do. What I'd like to do is set up a time where we all get together and I'll show you what we do. This way your husband gets a chance to hear from us as well as you. What I'd like to do is see what your schedule's like also. We meet on Tuesday evenings and Saturday morning. Does that work out for your schedule?
That'll be fine.
All right, awesome. So let's do this then. We'll set up a time to get back together for Saturday's follow-up meeting. And in the meantime, we'll schedule, before she leaves tonight, we'll schedule a time for us to get together with her and her husband, and we'll pop by the house and kind of show them what we do. We'll pretend they're a client and show them what the F&A process looks like and get them off to a fast start. Can you grab an IBA and take her in the conference room?
Sure.
And get her started?
No problem.
All right, and I'll come in there and see you. All right,
Okay.
great. Awesome. Hey, look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
You got it. All right, Claudia, great job. Grab a seat. Hey,
Hi.
how you doing? What intrigued you most about what you sat through? Grab a seat.
All right. Well, I'm interested in the business, but, well, yeah, I have questions. I have a lot of questions.
Okay, and you should, and you should. When I closed out the meeting, I said we take a lot of information and we dump it on you in a short period of time. Actually, that's the same concern you had, Claudia, when you...
She's not sure. She has a lot of questions.
Excellent, and you should, because it's a lot of information. Let me ask you this, who other than yourself would be involved in making a decision? Is your husband?
Yes. I would need
Okay.
to talk to him about
Okay,
it.
great. Well, we're not recruiting anybody on board tonight, okay? We have people that want to get on an accelerated program, but what I want to do is get you some more information. This way you can base your decision. Sometimes people walk out of my meeting and go, this is not for me. The challenge is you don't have enough information not to be interested.
Okay.
Tonight we kind of told you what we do. What I'd like to do, Claudia, is set up a time to get together with her and her husband, where we could sit down, pretend that you're a client, okay? And we'll sit down and kind of show you what we do. This way you see what we do in some detail. I always feel like if you learn more about who we are and what we do, then you'll be interested in taking
Okay.
the next step. So
All
why don't
right.
we do this? Let's set up a time to get together. I also do a meeting. You're here tonight, it's Tuesday evening. I do a meeting on Tuesdays and Saturdays if that works into your schedule. So between tonight, us getting together at your house with your husband, and maybe sitting through a follow-up meeting, and then if it makes sense, we'll take the next step.
Okay.
Fair enough?
Yes.
Okay. So what's better for you, daytime or evening?
Evenings. please.
Evening, okay. Let me just check some. I got some availability on Thursday or Friday. I don't know what your schedule's like, Claudia. Does that work out?
I think I'm open that night, yes.
Okay, it's
Either
Thursday
night
or
is
Friday?
fine.
Okay, so why don't we do this then? As of an hour ago, you didn't plan on being with us, okay? Why don't we pencil in Thursday at 7 o'clock-ish? And if something changes, you just let me know. Well, I'll pencil it in, and then you and I will sit down
Okay.
and we'll pop
Sure.
by. All
Okay,
right?
sounds
If
good.
you have any questions, and you will in the meantime,
Okay.
so just jot them down, and we'll grab some time, and look forward to seeing you on Thursday.
Okay.
You're going to love what you see.
Thank you.
All right? Nice to meet you.
Thank
All right,
you.
thanks for coming down tonight.
All right.
You got
Thank
it,
you,
Claudia.
Kate.
Thank you.
Thank you.